What's going on, everybody? For those who don't know, I go by BLSG, and this is the first Sixers off-season video of the year. And if you guys are new to this channel and love talking Philly sports nearly every single day, go down below and hit the subscribe button, smash the like button, and make sure to turn on the notification bell so you guys are instantly notified whenever I upload a new video. Now, there was a trade rumor, according to Bleacher Report, saying that a possibility that the Philadelphia 76ers could sign in the offseason is New Orleans Pelicans center Jaxson Hayes. That is right. There is a rumor on Bleacher Report saying that Jaxson Hayes is a possibility for the Philadelphia 76ers to go out and grab. And there are a couple of reasons for this, which I'm going to get into right now. So, the reasons of this being is because, first of all, Jaxson Hayes is on the final year of his rookie deal. So after this year, Jaxson Hayes is going to be a free agent. And the New Orleans Pelicans do not want to have to lose Jaxson Hayes in free agency, and will have to see another center go off their list. And second thing is that there's already a lot of depth at the center position. Obviously, you have Jonas Valanciunas over there, you have Herbert Jones over there, and you also have Larry Nance Jr. over there. You already have 3 centers on that roster for the New Orleans Pelicans, which is why Jaxson Hayes could possibly want out of New Orleans and maybe come to Philly. And the third reason is that, obviously, you know, Zion Williamson hasn't been back yet and hasn't been back in over a year. And next year could be the year that Zion Williamson could return to the New Orleans Pelicans. And obviously he would pair off with CJ McCollum. And this would mean that Jaxson Hayes would honestly get less playing time to get things going at the center position, even though Jonas Valanciunas is already ahead of him. It would still give him less playing time because Zion Williamson's there and already helping out CJ McCollum in New Orleans. So, do I think that the Philadelphia 76ers should go ahead and try to trade for Jaxson Hayes? Honestly, I would say yes to this, because I would say yes to a trade for Jaxson Hayes because we already have a bunch of old centers on the roster that are actually free agents right now that we better, for the love of God, not re-sign in DeAndre Jordan and Paul Millsap. First of all, they were too old to be on this team, and second of all, they rarely got playing time. And I don't want to see these guys on the roster again because they didn't even do much. They didn't really even do much for this team, and they didn't really drop much of anything off the bench. And Jaxson Hayes can drop at least 10 points a night off the bench as a backup center to Joel Embiid if the Sixers were to go ahead and grab Jaxson Hayes. So, if you were to have a depth chart in terms of the centers right now, if the Philadelphia 76ers were to grab Jaxson Hayes, it would probably be, obviously, you would have Joel Embiid as the starter, you'd have Jaxson Hayes as your second, you would have Jaxson Hayes as your second center, and then Charles Bassey as your third center. And then you could throw Paul Reed in the mix, but we'll eventually get into something about Paul Reed a little bit later. But I think there's still potential that Jaxson Hayes can get on this team. Because number one, he has 3 years of experience in the NBA, and Doc Rivers likes playing with experienced players. And Jaxson Hayes is a nice young piece that can be added to this team. And he does have experience in this league, so he knows exactly what he's doing. He's a good center off the bench. He's not a slow man like DeAndre Jordan and Paul Millsap. And he's definitely, I think, has more potential than those two centers. Because this is not prime DeAndre Jordan. This is not prime Paul Millsap. This is current DeAndre Jordan and current Paul Millsap. They better never return to this team. They better stay in free agency or go to another team that has interest in them. But please do not bring DeAndre Jordan and or Paul Millsap back to the Sixers. And I never want to see those two back on this team again. But anyway, I really do see potential in Jaxson Hayes being on this team. Now, there was also a potential trade scenario that could also go along with this that was also coming out on Bleacher Report as well. And the trade scenario was for the New Orleans Pelicans, they would receive Furkan Korkmaz and Paul Reed, and then the Sixers would acquire Jaxson Hayes on the last year of his rookie deal. And I honestly would take this trade. I would take this trade because, number one, even though the New Orleans Pelicans might not want to take some of this in this deal, either Furkan Korkmaz and or Paul Reed, they could just take this just for depth. I mean, Korkmaz can play as your guard or forward, and Paul Reed can play as your forward or even a small ball center and get somewhere on the depth chart. They would be there just for depth, and every now and then they would get playing time in New Orleans. But I really do like this deal, and also, I also kind of want Furkan gone, even though he just got an extension last year in last year's offseason. Even though you just had an extension, just get him out. Just get him out. He's too inconsistent. Our best bench player only had 5 points, and that was Shake Milton, who gave us a good game out of every 30 other games, or however many games it was. And we need a better bench piece, and Jaxson Hayes is someone that the Philadelphia 76ers can get by any means. Now, in terms of Paul Reed, I like Paul Reed. I know he has a bright future ahead of him, but I think the Sixers just need more experience behind Joel Embiid to really have Doc Rivers give these guys playing time. Doc Rivers doesn't want to play second-year guys. Jaxson Hayes already has 3 years of experience in the league. He's played in the league since at least the age of 18 or 19 years old, and he can put up 10 points a game for you off the bench, which is something that we need because, like I said before, Shake Milton was our best bench piece with just 5 points off the bench. With 5 points off the bench a night is absolutely unacceptable. And I cannot see 5 points off the bench every single time. And I can't see that from any best bench piece by any means guaranteed. So, I think Jaxson Hayes, even though Shake Milton is a guard, I still think that the Sixers should go ahead and get Jaxson Hayes. I really do think that Jaxson Hayes does have potential. I really think he could be something behind Embiid next year if the Sixers were to grab him, which I really would like actually, because I really do think he's got potential. He's a nice young player. He can give you 10 points a game, much more than what Shake Milton will put up, which is also known as our best bench piece. And at the end of the day, I really do see Jaxson Hayes coming to this team because obviously we need depth at center. 2 of our guys that played center are gone in Paul Millsap and DeAndre Jordan, and you currently would have 3 or 4 centers if you do want to count Paul Reed. You would have 3 or 4 centers on this roster with Embiid, Hayes, Bassey, and if you want to count them too, Paul Reed. And at the end of the day, I really do see potential for Jaxson Hayes to get on this team. He does have experience, and some of the younger guys like Paul Reed and Bassey. But if the trade scenario were to happen, if it was Furkan Korkmaz and Paul Reed for Jaxson Hayes, then it'd be Charles Bassey running behind Jaxson Hayes. And hopefully Charles Bassey then will just get better as the years go on. But give me your thoughts down in the comments section. How do you feel about the rumors about Jaxson Hayes to the Philadelphia 76ers? Would you want Jaxson Hayes on the Philadelphia 76ers? And what would you want to give up for him to be able to get on this Sixers team? Throw your thoughts down in the comment section. Want to see what you guys think, and let's go Sixers, man. Anyway, guys, see you next time. Peace out. Go Sixers.